Hello, this is the overview video for week 1 of Intro to Criminal Justice. If this is the first video you're watching, there is an overview or introductory video where I introduce myself. And because this is an intro class and because this is also the first semester that we're using Canvas instead of Brightspace, I thought it was a good idea to come in here and kind of walk through this. So, mind you, some of this may look different from the student view versus the instructor view, but you get the idea. You come into the class, there's a start here module and a week 1 module. So the start here and the week 1 is what has to be kind of worked through this week because it's the first week. And then beyond that, there'll be a module for every week. So this is a 7.5 week online class, which means every week of this online class is covering what would normally be covered in 2 weeks in an in-person class. So keep that in mind if you haven't done online classes before, that it is what we call an accelerated course. So be careful not to get behind because it can get hard to catch up at that point. So within the Start Here module, I posted a welcome video where I introduce myself and talk about kind of broadly about things. There is Canvas support links and stuff there, which I have no idea how useful that is or not. The course syllabus is also linked right here. And so you open that up and you should be able to like save it as a PDF if you want to, or it be accessible at any point in time during the course of the semester through the Canvas. And it just talks about expectations and stuff. It's basically, they're all pretty much the same. It's, this is what you need to do. This is the required textbook. This is, how the class is going to go and how you're going to be graded and that kind of stuff. So sometimes this breadcrumb trail thing works pretty good up here where it'll get you back where you started. Other times, like I noticed, like if I click on this, it takes me completely to a different thing. So I have to kind of click home or modules down here to get back to that view, because otherwise if I go to pages, then it's something completely different. So that being said, I'm sure I'll get my sea legs, and some of this might be because I imported it from Brightspace and it didn't really, all the links were broken, all all of my like videos that I had made, I had to go back and re-export them from Brightspace and then manually upload them because they didn't transfer over. It's kind of been a big headache. So what you need to do in the Start Here module is there's a course ethics agreement that's required in every online class. And then there is a introductory video assignment where you just post a video of yourself saying who you are and what your major is and something interesting about yourself, that kind of thing. Again, I think that's consistent in all the classes, but that has to be done by the end of the week, which I set all the end dates to be Sunday at midnight, basically. So that's your deadline. And so week 1, again, this didn't really come over from Brightspace very easy. So these things are just resources from the textbook that I just uploaded. And when I originally uploaded them into Brightspace, it didn't look like that, but you click on any one of them and you get it. It's also in the book. So if you um, look in each chapter of the book, you'll see it's got learning objectives, key terms, and a summary. Um, that being said, I don't really care if you look at those or not, or if you find them helpful, that's fine. The lessons are what you need to go through. There's a series of videos. I, I, I really wanted to try to get everything down to 20 minutes, but I noticed that these lessons I had for chapters 1 and 2 and stuff went a little long. They're closer to 30 minutes. But it is something I'm going to try to build into this class as I go, is to try to keep those videos as short as I can. And then this lesson 4 one is actually an outside video, not me talking. And but I think it's really good. So essentially what we are covering here during week 1 of the Intro to Criminal Justice class is just kind of a broad introduction where we're just scratching the surface of what we're going to cover and things like that. Chapter 2 gets into like theory, or not theory, sorry, crime stats, like how crime stats are collected, and that kind of thing. And then I'm kind of going out of the book for report writing, because there really, believe it or not, is not really a discussion of report writing in the criminal justice textbook, which I think is kind of bonkers. But it is an essential skill that everybody that works in law enforcement, corrections, juvenile justice, you always need to know how to write a good narrative account, because you have to be able to explain what's going on and what you did, what other people did, and why it matters. And so it means that you have to be able to put things into a logical sequence and logical order and present them in a way that is as concise as it can be, meaning we don't want it to be overly lengthy. But we also need to know what's important to be included and what's not. And that can be different depending on what kind of report you're writing. So that being said, without getting into that lesson, it's something we're going to cover during the semester, and it's something that it's going to be basically the writing assignments for the class are going to be geared towards report writing rather than research paper. So those videos are geared towards that. And then there is a textbook quiz that covers chapters 1 and 2. And then basically I posted this. This is it's called a discussion board, but you don't have to write, like type text on it. You can post a video. So if you record yourself making a video, you can click insert media and then upload record media. And if you click on that, it actually gives you the option to record it. But obviously my microphone and video camera are in use right now, so I'm not going to do that. But the point being is that you don't have to sit here and try to type it out or whatever. You can actually record your discussion. So what I'm hoping for here is that after you've looked at all the lessons and after you've done all of the assignments, that this would be the final assignment that you would do, and you would just reflect on the week's lesson. So what did you think was interesting or noteworthy about the lesson? What what do you think was boring? I mean, you can talk about whatever you want to talk about regarding the lesson, and then any questions that you have, like, hey, you said that, um, you said this, but what about, what have you considered that? I don't. So you can say whatever you want or type whatever. So So that being said, even though the first week is technically covering 2 weeks worth of material from a normal class, that's really all the assignments that I'm going to have you do. Is that, you got to do the course ethics agreement, you got to do the introductory video, and then down here in week one assignments, you got to do the chapter 1 and 2 quiz, and then post either a discussion, typed out discussion board, or a video where you just talk about, reflect on what you learned and such. And you do all those things and you'll be in good standing. All of it's due by Sunday, August 31st. If you have any questions, um, you can put it in the discussion board. If it's something more pressing, you can email or text me or whatever. That's fine. With regard to the quiz, I'm going to make the quizzes, the weekly quizzes, to where you can take them a second time if you do poorly on the first attempt. However, the scores will average, so don't bomb it on purpose the first time or whatever, and banking on getting a second attempt. Take your time and do your best. So that's all I have for this week. I will see you next week.